Hi, welcome to another mentoring moment. I'm Dr. Berin Gilfillan. Today we're going to be speaking about asking God according to his greatness, not according to our own small thinking. One of my staff many years ago, his name is Tim Taylor, he was driving into work, and he heard a story on the radio, which he repeated to me, which I don't know the veracity of it, but the story was amazing. It was about a very famous golf player. His name is Arnold Palmer. Most of us maybe know the drink, but he was the king. He was an amazing golf player in his time and his generation. And the story was that he had become very famous. He had won many major Grand Slam tournaments. He had done had an amazing career. And he was invited by a very wealthy sheikh in one of the Middle Eastern countries, maybe Dubai or one of those countries. And this man was extremely wealthy and invited him for a week to come and look at his private golf course and to play and to just have fellowship and just to just get some advice from him. And they had a wonderful week together, and Arnold Palmer flew over there in his private jet, and he had this week together with this sheikh, this very wealthy man. And at the end of it, as he was leaving, the sheikh said to him, "I'm so grateful that you came, so grateful that you took time and that you took this week out and spent it with me." He said, "I would love to give you something. I'd love to reward you with something." He said, "But I don't really know what to give you." And Arnold Palmer said, "I'm very wealthy. I have no real needs." And this guy pushed him, and finally Arnold Palmer said, he says, "Well, I collect old golf clubs." He says, "That's something that I have as a hobby." He said, "I'd love to, that's one of the things I like." Well, he flew back to the States, and about 6 months later, an envelope arrived, and it came from the sheikh. It had gold things around the edges and beautifully decorated this envelope. And when he opened it up, the sheikh had written a thank you note, and he wrote these words. He said, "I just wanted to thank you." He says, "This was very difficult for me to find." He said, "But," he said, "enclosed is the title deed to an old golf club in Scotland." And Arnold Palmer was thinking of a golf club, and this guy, his thinking was a whole different scale. He thought of a golf club like an actual entire golf club in Scotland. And he gave him the title deed to this golf club. And it really just illustrated to me how sometimes we are with God. We're thinking of something very small, and in God's mind, he is so great. I remember working with Reinhard Bonke, and one of the things Reinhard continually did was challenge me in my faith, challenge me to believe God for more. And just the way he thought, Reinhard would, he would ask largely of God. And his mind, he was thinking hundreds of thousands. He was thinking of 1 million souls getting saved in one meeting. He ended up having 1.6 million people in a single meeting, and he saw over 1 million souls saved in one single meeting. Because he believed for that, he asked God for things that were great. And I remember when he had, and I talked about this little booklet, Minus to Plus. I remember when God gave him this vision, the Lord said, "I want you to print this booklet, and I want you to send it to every home in the United Kingdom." That's 26 million homes. And, it wasn't, send it to 100,000 or 1 million. It was every home in the United Kingdom. And Reinhard would believe that. And I remember another minister was preaching, and he was sort of in some ways making fun of Reinhard, and he said, Reinhard's a little greedy. He said, we ask God for we ask God for a slice of bread. He says, Reinhard wants the whole loaf. And Reinhard stood up and said, "I don't want the whole loaf." He says, "I want the entire bakery. I want to be able to have, much more than just a loaf. I want the capacity to make thousands of loaves to feed millions of people." Reinhard always had that great amount of thinking. And one of the things that God has challenged me is to ask largely of him. We go to Isaiah chapter 40, a very famous chapter. "They that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They'll mount up with wings as of eagles." It's an incredible chapter. And I remember recording Reinhard's intercessor, Suzette Harting, and she took a just a little thing of water. And she talked about this one verse, and you see a little drop over there, and we just one drop there. And God says this in verse 15, behold, the nations are as a drop in the bucket and are counted as the small dust on the scales. All the nations of the world are just a drop in the bucket. That's how great our God is. And I feel like we should not ask according to our small thinking. We should ask according to his greatness, according to how amazing he is, how incredible his power is, his strength is, and his ability to provide. So let's ask greatly of God. Let's ask largely of God. Let's believe him for the maximum and not for the minimum. And let's ask him according to his greatness. And if you had a millionaire in front of you or a billionaire in front of you, and you said, oh, please, can I just have $10? You're almost insulting the person because you're asking such a small amount when that person has the capacity to do so much more than that. So let's ask according to God's greatness and according to his mightiness and his power, and let's ask largely of the Lord for what we need in our lives. Until next time, God bless you.